Today I want to talk about how this tank runs, because I think it's kind of unique, and I hear a lot of people go through a lot of problems, and this system just seems to run really well while also avoiding a lot of those problems that are so typical for a lot of people. So first I want to say that right now the tank is running too clean. There's no detectable nitrate, and phosphate is only at 0.01. There's no mechanical media in this entire system. There's not a filter suck, a foam block, there's no pre-filter pad on a pump or anything. There is no GFO, there's no carbon, there's no purigen, there's no biopellet reactor, there's none of that stuff. There's no deep sand bed, there's no plenum, nothing. Just lots of live rock, good lighting, lots of flow. The biggest key, I think, is this refugium. Now, this is an LED grow light for a hydroponic system, so it's all pink bulbs, very, very bright. It's, I think it was listed at 300 watts, and the thing only cost me like 60 bucks on eBay. And this, I just pulled out about 4 gallons of keto the other day. It's just amazingly productive. I do that about every month or so, maybe a little bit longer, because I don't usually pull out that much at a time. But that, I think, is the number one key to this system, is just this very strong refugium that I had running for 24 hours a day until recently I realized just how low the nutrients were, that it was problematic, and I cut it back to just at night. The other nutrient control on this system is the skimmer. And I actually tried running it without the skimmer for a while and didn't have any issues with it, but I just can't stand the idea of not having a skimmer, because if something big dies, like a big fish, an anemone, a clam, anything like that, one of those things dying, the skimmer can make the difference between, hey, what's wrong with the tank, and oh my god, what happened to the tank, everything's dead. That amount of nutrients being released if something like that dies is just phenomenal. I've actually stopped doing water changes because the nutrients are under control. When I do a water change, I only seem to see a drop in my levels of calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, which I've finally gotten in tune where they need to be. I'm still fine-tuning the dosing, but we're there. But as far as nutrient control, there's no more water changes. So, again, this is a system with no water changes, effectively, at least not needed. So no water changes, no GFO, no carbon, no purigen, no biopellets, no vodka dosing, yet no nitrate, and barely any phosphate. There's actually too few nutrients in this system. So I just want people to know that it's possible to run a reef without getting into any of that stuff, without getting into the riskier stuff. You don't need chlorpa, you don't need deep sand beds, you don't need carbon dosing, you don't need any of that stuff necessarily. Every system runs different, but it's definitely possible to run without those riskier methods and just have a nice, super strong grow light on your refugium and have a thriving tank that actually I need to feed more to, and I feed very heavily, and it's still not enough to keep enough nutrients in this system. So I'm trying to get my fish stocking up a little, start tweaking exactly what I'm feeding and how often, and just making sure that I got the nutrients going into the system to make the corals as happy, because it really is just running too clean at this point.